everybody, it's Allie Edwards and welcome back to December Daily 2023. I am working on my Christmas Eve story, so story 24 in my December Daily album for 2023. I've got a couple things going on in this one. A lot of times for me when I get to this point in the project or the process of creating the project, I like simple. And often for me, simple is digital layered templates using some sort of layered template setup. And so this one actually I started off using one of the templates that is in the layered template pack this year, the 10 by 8 layered template pack, and I adapted it to work for what I wanted it to do. So I'm including this in the blog post today. So if you use Photoshop, you can download this and use it. I'm also going to include the Christmas Eve Memories word art as a PNG. So you can take that, you can manipulate it, you can do whatever you would like with it. For me, it worked out great. I have 6 photos here from Christmas Eve. I actually didn't take a lot of photos and I felt really happy about that. I was just hanging out and I was really enjoying our time together. But what I ended up doing is using those 6 photos as a jumping off point for my storytelling. This is all printed on photo paper, so printed all at once with little pieces of the different stories. So I'm going to end up just punching holes in this and adding it directly into the album. In addition to that, I want to bring in another transparency, and I also want to bring in these hearts. These I did off camera the beginning of the season, when, more shakers, right? You guys saw how into the shakers I was at the beginning of the year. So these were made with the plastic hearts, and then I cut out another plastic piece, which is one of the other transparencies that were from my stash. We've got the sequins from Diary of Belle Rose in there, and then I stitched around the outside to close them up. And I really liked how it almost became a little sentence. The sentence of this Merry Fa La La feels like a good representation of this year. So this is what from the transparency pack this year. And what I think I'm going to do is actually just attach each one of these on here with a brad. And then when the page turns over, you'll see a little bit of the shaker pockets there, and then it will go into this page. I might add on some numbers on here, but it's not as important to me as just having those words and photos in their place. So this is also a good example, throughout the month of December and prior to that, I've done lots and lots of crafty things this year, right? Lots of different crafty pieces, different little things that have gone on, lots of photos, lots of big photo enlargements. I love how that turned out. So sometimes it's nice to be able to just have the simple focus on the words and the photos. And especially in a case like this, where the story that I'm telling from, story number 24, our Christmas Eve story, encompasses a variety of different things, right? Little bits about what was going on during the day. And I love having the straightforward grid-based documentation of that. So what I'm going to do is figure out how I'm going to attach these guys on here, and this will be a nice little intro page that goes right into that. I want to get a 24 on there, even just like right there. That might be the simplest, awesomest way to add on some numbers onto this page. I'll probably do that, just use these little ones on there. And then this one I'm going to call it good before I jump into the last story. So my Christmas Day story will be coming up next. So here I go. All right, so the bulk of the time for this one really goes into, for me, it was like setting up the template and doing the word art and doing the writing. So really just identifying your photos, then being able to mask them inside the shapes in Photoshop. The word art will already be on there, but if you're not a layered template person, you can also just simply take this idea of using a grid, right? A grid of your photos and a grid of your journaling. You could set up little custom journaling blocks for yourself that had Christmas Eve memories on it. You could use the Christmas Eve memories word art as a large title, maybe as a part of a bigger grid. Lots of different options for that. But I spent a little bit of time, obviously, on my computer getting those things set up first before I went ahead and dove into this part. Also, because I had already done the hearts and already created the sequin shakers, the sequin mix shakers there with the plastic hearts. That was something that probably would have took even more time earlier on as well. So that, I think, is one of the lessons that I continue to take away, is that for me, I have so much energy for this project in the beginning of the season, right? And that's really when I'm collecting a lot of different ideas. I'm playing around with different things. I'm loving that part of it. And so my past self has done my future self a favor here by setting up some of these things in advance, whether they are foundation pages or just different playful ideas that I had put together in the past. So loved being able to just kind of focus on the words and photos part, and then being able to add in some of the playful, crafty things that I had done previously. So for these plastic shakers, the star shaker or heart shakers, I did decide to just use brads, and I'm using large gold brads. The first one here worked just using the paper piercer. The other two, I needed to actually punch a hole. Like once, excuse me, when I started to put the brad in there, it was squishing backwards, and so I had to mess around a little bit with that, as you guys know how that goes. But on one of them I used the We Are Memory Keepers hole punch, and then on another one I just used the hole punch on the Crop-A-Dile. It was kind of like whatever was right in front of me. You can see how that was just, it's too small of a hole. So punching a little hole, it's still not a giant hole, but a smaller hole on there made that go through a lot easier, especially when it's a couple layers of plastic there. I liked this idea. You could also do some sort of a hanging, you could do hanging hearts. If you liked the way that I used the velvet ribbon yesterday, you could actually do something similar with hearts like this, or maybe you put photos on the background, or you have photos underneath. There's lots of different layering things that you could do with these hearts as well. And anything that I haven't used this year will go into my December daily stash, and I'll probably do a cleanup video again this year. I will also do a full walkthrough video after I finish story number 25, which should be coming up soon, and just ready to wrap this one up and move on. I know some of you are just starting out, which I love, because some people experience this project in a completely different way. So if you are just starting to dive in and work on your project, welcome. I hope you have such a fun time documenting however you spent the holiday season. And for those of you that might be wrapping up or getting closer to wrapping up like me, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me this past month as we document the different ways that we are celebrating the holidays in all of our various households. So I really liked putting this one together. I thought that was a fun, kind of intro page. I've done a lot this year of spreads and double pages. There have been many years in the past where I've just done, single pages for each of my stories. So it was kind of fun to have lots of space to build this year and to play around with that overall. As always, let me know if you guys have questions. I will be back again soon with my story 25. And getting ready to move on to some of the next things as we get closer to 2024. Again, thanks so much for being here, and let me know if you have questions in the comments below. We also do have videos for working with layered templates. I have them here on YouTube and on the blog if you need a little more help with that.